What's going on, guys? My name is Lynn from Pava Labs channel. You're watching Learn English with Scratch. In this video, we're going to be exploring the Scratch user interface. Well, before we get started, let's have a look at the keywords for the lesson. Keyword number 1, stage, stage, stage. A stage is the background of the Scratch project. It is 480 pixels wide and 360 pixels tall. For example, in Scratch, all of the sprites live in the stage. Keyword number 2, sprite, sprite, sprite. A sprite is an object or a character in Scratch that can be programmed to perform actions. For example, the default sprite of a Scratch project is a cat. Keyword number 3, costume, costume, costume. A costume is an alternate appearance of a sprite. A sprite can change its look to any of its costumes. For example, one sprite can have as many costumes as the programmer wants. Keyword 4, script, script, script. A script is a stack of blocks that all interlock with one another. For example, this script only has 5 lines of code. Number 5, sound, sound, sound. A sound is something that you can hear or that can be heard. For example, in Scratch, sounds are played by using sound blocks. So in the last video, we learned to create a Scratch account. I hope you still remember your account because you're gonna need it. In this video, we're gonna be exploring the Scratch user interface. With that in mind, let's go ahead and log into our Scratch. Oh, this is my daughter. She's 2.5 years old. Okay, now I'm gonna click on the signing and then type in my username. So my username, as I mentioned before, is a combination of my nickname and the first 2 digits of my birth year. And my password is gonna be, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands 19. Okay, now hit enter. Wait a minute. Okay, so now I'm gonna save my password so I don't have to enter my password next times. Okay, next let's click on the create button up here to open the Scratch user interface. That's gonna take a second. Ooh, behold, I give you the Scratch user interface. Now the Scratch user interface is broken down into a couple of parts. Let's begin with this rectangle area on the right hand side of your screen. This is what Scratch calls the stage. The stage is actually where you see the result of your project when it gets run. And right now on this stage there's one character, this default Scratch cat right here. And Scratch calls characters like this one a sprite. A sprite in the world of Scratch is just an object, like it could be a character like a human or an animal like a cat right here, or it could be any object that lives somewhere on the stage. Now above the stage to the left hand side there's a green button. If you notice, when you play games on your computer or on your tablet or phone, you must press play to let the game begin. Now this green flat button has the same function. Most of the Scratch project begins when you click on the green flag. If I want to stop my project immediately, all I need to do is to click on the stop sign button right next to the green flag. And also above the stage, but to the right hand side of the screen, we have options to change the view of the stage. By default, this is the default view of the stage. Now, if I want to experience the full screen mode of the stage, all I need to do is to click on this button on the right hand side. Notice that the 4 arrows are pointing outward. Let's click on that one. This is the full screen mode of the stage. If I want to go back to the default view, I'll click on this one and notice the 4 arrows are pointing inward. Now, sometimes I build, like complicated projects, and that means I need a bigger space for this block editor. Well, we're gonna learn about the block editors in just a second, so don't worry. I need to expand this area, and how do I do that? I can do that by clicking on this button to minimize the stage, and as a result, the block editor area expands. Just for now, I'll keep the default view. Now, this area below the stage is called the sprite pane. This is where I get to see the list of all the sprites in my project that are currently in my projects. And right now, there's only one sprite, which is the cat. And on the right of the sprite pane, this is where I can create or edit the backdrops of the stage. We'll learn about that later. Okay, moving on next to the left hand side of the screen, I have this area which I usually call the block library. Some people may prefer to call it the block palette, but to me, I'll just keep it. I'll call it the block library. And the block library is divided into two parts: the blocks category, like the motion, looks, and sounds, events, and control. And as you can see, inside the motion category, we have all the code blocks for the motion, like move, turn, or go to. And this is the default view of the block library. It has three tabs. The code tab is the default view. What's gonna happen if I click on the costumes tab? Alright, let's do it. Oh, okay, so this is the pen editor for the costumes. So with this pen editor, we can actually edit the sprite, like turn it, or we can draw some more shapes. We will discover these tools later in later videos. And how about let's click on the sound tab. Okay, so again, now this one is the sound editor, so you can actually add more sounds from the library, or you can edit the sound here. Let's go back to the code editor. The last part of the Scratch user interface I would like to introduce to you today is the block editor. This is actually the place where we put all the blocks together in order to program for the cat to do whatever that is we would like for it to do. Okay, so in this video, we discovered the stage of the Scratch user interface, the sprite pane, the block library, and the block editor. In the next video, we're going to be learning about the backdrops of the stage. Now, if you like the video, click the like button below, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell for more updates from the channel. Until next time, bye bye.